Ellis Lake, Marysville, California. 20:45 hours, 5:15, 2008. Nobody was watching. A pair of human figures, nondescript from the few others present, were walking. Average height, business casual wear. One a white male, the other a black male. Both solidly built, like your average gym member, but leaner than any bodybuilder. Their pace, average and casual, like they simply decided to meet for a pleasant evening stroll, and to converse about anything usual for people. Life, work, family, existential issues, and minor politics. Things as would be assumed by any casual observers or watchers. And nobody was watching them both. And thus unaware to the pair of men, nobody was also listening closely. The black male's voice was easygoing, sing-song, and energetic as he spoke. Man, can you believe we finally get a chance? Like, yo, we coming up it seems. This new contract, the work, shit. The money, yo, the money. The black male was jovial and in good spirits, dancing like Lionel Richie to a good song, crossed with Hall from Hall & Oates' easygoing full-body rhythm. The white male was his opposite in a way, more rigid, like a mountain, almost stern, and had a voice like the most quiet but powerful diesel engine, part musical vocalization, part country twang, part wizened veteran of existence that has had to project his voice for any reason, many times, with a timbre like someone much older, which, to the black male, he was. "I'm not going to rain on your parade," he said evenly. "But there is something fishy smelling about all of this. Almost like the last parts of our first push into Afghanistan in them mountains, when we lost guys for the first time from negligent leadership," he said. "And I got the same feeling from back then, when guys with too many stars and bars for their brains and ego yanked the reins from the rest of us on the ground and started calling the shots from their ivory fucking tower," he said, with a slight bit more temperament behind it. "All of this feels like that, and too much just doesn't add up," he finished, thoughtfully, and pensive in equal measure. The black male responded, "Man, you just getting old. This ain't like when you was in the military. We are at the top this time. We, us, you and me. We call the shots on the ground, full freedom of maneuver, plus we got all the requests for supply we wanted. ISR on all levels, military QRF prep nearby, easy target, easy money, easy execution, our plan, our time, their dime. Plus the money." He gestured with his hands, like he held stacks of cash. "6 figures each? The entire team? We can retire early." Oh, wait. He recalled for a second. "Shit, I almost forgot. You already retired. Damn, just remembered." He laughed and shook his head. "Well, then I can retire at least. Ha ha! Forgot you were old," he said emphatically, bumping the white male's shoulder. The white male responded, "Yeah, and I still beat your ass at PT tests." He smiled slightly, patting the black male on the back and looking straight at him. "Someday you will grow up to be like me. Might take a while more training and experience, though. He looked away, still smiling slightly. The black male fired back. Well, at least I got bitches still. I'm gonna look better than you, too. Black don't crack, baby. He cut his laugh short, and his mood turned somber. Shit. My bad, man. Forgot about the divorce crap, he said contritely. The white male's response was even and measured. I'm over it, and have been since I got the finalization. Plus, it helps I didn't catch anything from her. My son has no issues either. Thank the powers that be for that, he said lightly. Besides, I got my son and his future to set up for. I'm too busy and got too much important shit to do, like keeping you shitheads alive. He smirked and elbowed the younger man in the side, chuckling, and trying to find out more about this mess we are in. I got the gut feeling it's deeper than they're letting on, he said, again thoughtful and contemplative. I got some buddies still in Sockham and other places. I'm going to ensure we have more than what they are giving us. Again, it just smells like fish, and a rotten one at that, he exclaimed. The younger man responded, more level than usual. You think it's related to that other mission? Nefab Zarak? He asked in a low voice. Nobody's ears perked up and turned up the volume. I don't know. Not for sure, the older man responded, more seriously. But there is a ton of shit about this that just sounds too much like it, he said concisely. The weirdness about the reports, the eyewitnesses, conflicting testimony, the again conflicting sworn statements from military personnel nearby. If this was a training mission, what we have at the moment leaves too much in the dark. And even more that doesn't make any sense. He trailed off for a moment. And those things make this seem like less of an HVT mission, and more like some kind of USG-sponsored ghost hunt or UFO recon or something just as wonky. He slightly chuckled at the absurdity of such unprofessional terms, but he had nothing else to label it with. Combined with elements of a possible HVT on-site? Oh yeah, those parts sound like Zarak and the stuff we experienced there. But this is a different place, different geography, more local traffic, busy place and real public, more like parts of Baghdad than the mountains of Afghanistan with tiny villages, he stated, his tone more serious. Not to mention, nothing on civilian considerations, he pointed out, questioningly. The younger man nodded. Yeah, that shit was weird as fuck, he said, his former ranger's experience in briefings being recalled. They didn't follow Métis all the way, he said, now also contemplative, his mind rushing through his mental checklist. They completely skipped any mention of civvies. Hell, they treated that shit like there won't be any there. He stopped cold, his pace slowing dramatically. You don't think? The older man immediately finished for him. They either do not care at all about collateral damage and civilian casualties, he said firmly, or they assume there are none in the immediate vicinity and think the entire target area is nothing but hostiles. He ended quickly, allowing the younger man to absorb it. The younger man was snapped to attention by this. Oh, shit, he said, emphatically, his mind racing. So that is why they were throwing so much money at us. They really don't know how this will go down. So we being picked to find out? His face was a mixture of shock and alarm. Would almost be funny if the situation wasn't so serious. Holy shit. No wonder why there was so many maybes and possiblies and shit in the briefing, he said, realization hitting like a slap. It's not just spotty ass intel and weird shit. We might be walking into Mogadishu Part fucking 2, he exclaimed. Yeah, no wonder the supply requests are so easy, he said, turning strictly serious. They are sure we gonna be needing it, he said. The older man reassured him. Don't worry too much until it's prep week, he stated. I'll know more by then. You gotta focus on ensuring personnel readiness and put a heavy emphasis on Drill 6 for this one. It's urban heavy. But I already have a few ideas of extraction, and I'm prepping multiple avenues of approach for it, he said calmly. Unlike Afghanistan, air will not be red for us, and neither will maritime conditions. Plus, he added confidently, we will not be tied down and fixed in place due to lack of assets or their denial. I have already ensured that locally, he finished again, confidently. The younger man exhaled with relief. Well, it is you saying it. I feel a shit ton better already. Woo! Nobody watched as the men parted near one of the few docks made for the lake, sharing a big hug between brothers of uniform. The younger man walked towards a parked Dodge Challenger, painted deep purple. He turned around with the door open. Yo! You sure you don't got time for dinner? DJ making some soul food tonight. The older man responded. I gotta go fly. Picking up my son in El Paso, the older man said, partly exasperated. My ex refuses to take him anywhere. I gotta get some sleep. He projected his response back. The younger man leaned into his chair. All right, then. Be dangerous. See you when you get back. Tell your boy Uncle coming soon. He laughed and flashed a peace sign with his fingers. The older man responded with a smile and a wave, watching as he pulled out of the parking lot and peeled towards the intersection, shaking his head as he watched. Then, until the Challenger disappeared down the street. Nobody wrote down the license plate to check against already existing information, then watched the older man walk back around the lake, his eyes down, deep in thought. Nobody listened carefully as the older man spoke to himself, as if running through his thoughts. No civilian considerations mentioned. Weird and unexplainable phenomena. Why even mention such things if it wasn't relevant? Conflicting information, over a dozen unknown and unconfirmed variables. Only the potential for an HVT. Possibly purely hostile locals. Incomplete ISR on the whole thing. Given all the money and all that we asked for just a 17-man team? His mind was racing still, stacking up knowns and unknowns, and didn't like how unbalanced the scales were. What exactly is their end goal here? What is the precise possible objective besides what they are allowing us to know? He questioned himself, aloud, but quietly. Nobody kept note. This wasn't the average contractor. Then again, reading this one's file, he expected as much. But the file did no justice to what happened next. As the man kept walking, getting closer, nobody noticed his gaze switching from wandering and lost in thought to suddenly sharp and vigilant, searching in the dark, as if he felt someone was watching him. And when the man got close to the parking lot, his eyes clearly seemed to lock on to him, and almost looked like he glared. Nobody didn't move an inch. The vehicle he was in was powered off. Blackout windows. The device he used to hear the conversation was a nondescript part of the vehicle. The listening device especially disguised as the search lamp on an older patrol car, auctioned off on the market, pointed directly at the older man, but shouldn't be enough to draw suspicion. It was just a lamp, nothing more. The man started walking towards the parking lot nobody was in. Alarms were going off in his head, but he refused to pay attention to them. He doesn't know I'm here. He can't know. The man got within feet of him, in the middle of the parking lot, right behind the ballpark, and was scanning, as if searching for something, his stance seemingly only slightly casual to others, but nobody could tell he was ready to sprint or fight in less than a second. Seeing the old soldier almost like a predatory animal, and every moment he looked, the air seemed stagnant in nobody's car. Nobody had his right hand on the keys, the other on his weapon. The man then stared at his vehicle again, with that piercing glare, betraying no emotion, only potential purpose and direction. His direction. Nobody kept fighting his instinct to do something, anything, telling himself it was just hypervigilance. A lot of combat veterans have it, and this guy was no exception. But still, his heart felt like it was being shoved up his throat with every second, feeling like eternity had its jaws around him. The older man kept staring for a minute, and then, like nothing at all had happened, he suddenly moved. Nobody almost started his car and had his weapon out when he looked back a second later, weapon drawn behind his blackout window, barely seconds from panic, adrenaline rushing through him like ice in his veins. His head rushing with the little amount of tactical training he had compared to the monster outside his car, with his decades of real combat experience and a mountain of bodies to show for it. All the older man had done was shake his head, shrug his shoulders, then about-faced back towards the sidewalk, all in the same quick and fluid motion, and was then on his way back across the street towards the parking lot next to the Dollar Tree, to where his rented pickup was parked, then drove out of the area, driving out of sight. Nobody exhaled, the adrenaline flooding out of him, and he barely managed to start breathing again, still trying to be quiet for some reason, even with the potential danger long gone. "Damn it," he said emphatically, with a voice both nondescript and city-born. "Freaking out over nothing. What the hell?" He smirked, reassuring himself. "It's just caution. Dude's just paranoid. Coincidence happens," he said. Even though deep down, he was completely unsure, and still very rattled by the whole encounter. It certainly felt like he had been caught, but he tried to talk it up to his inexperience with these type of ops, especially when it came to real combat personnel of any kind. Surveilling law enforcement, political figures, persons of interest, even security details for anyone on the list of potential dissidents was very different. And he had a prior warning about it from other officers. Military, especially their frontline soldiers, were a different breed, he surmised. It also took a certain type of person to volunteer for potential death, or to be the dealer of it specifically. Besides, nobody but those up top in the party knew that the agency, supposedly tied down by laws that are really just a smokescreen, was very much active inside the United States of America. Its associates in the political sphere and the agency always know best. As for nobody, well, he is just doing his job. Taken from a short story written by a retired combat veteran known as Badger 7 Actual, or Blast Cap Badger, in his half-burned journal, based upon his experiences on missions overseas. Thank you very much for listening and watching. I appreciate your time. And please, like, share, comment, and subscribe. And if you would like more content such as this, please let me know in the comments down below. That being said, I will see you in the next one. I am Badger 7 Actual, the formerly homeless veteran. Blast Cap Badger, out.